Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. When I pick up Vyasa from daycare, we usually have some quiet time. We'll listen to classical music, he'll eat a snack. So in our quiet time as we're coming home, from the back, he says, Papa, what does a interneter do? What does a interneter do? His question is, what is the internet? But I really interpreted it literally. What does an interneter do? And my mind drifted to brahmacharya. Brahmacharya in English means discipline. One who is disciplined uses equipments rather than being used by equipments. So what does an interneter do? They use the internet rather than being used by the internet. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop to remember social media, the internet. These are only equipments. These are not the ends. The ends is independent joy. In our last verse, Prince Arjuna is thinking in the short term. He is thinking in the little picture. And what he's thinking from these perspectives makes sense. Do you all feel that? As you hear his words, they make sense. Again, this is short term. This is little picture. One doesn't need guidance to think in the short term and little picture. We can do this instinctively. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is not about Preya, but Shreya. Shreya is the long term. In fact, Nishreya, I shared that with you some weeks ago, the forever term. That is the big picture. That is the biggest picture. From this perspective, Prince Arjuna is engaged in wrong thinking. And so wrong speaking. Another way to look at this, Prince Arjuna is being a good person. Shri Krishna wants him to be the greatest person. We already are good people. We don't need guidance to be a good person. But to be the greatest person, we do need guidance. And Shri Krishna's guidance is coming. We're around 15 verses away from when the teachings of Bhagavad Gita begin. We are on verse 39. Katam naneyamasmabihi papadasmani vartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardana. The first quarter. Katam, how? Asmabihi, us, naneyam. How can we not learn or act from what we know? Prince Arjuna is sharing this with Shri Krishna. Sanatana Dharma is a religion, and this religion teaches maximum happiness for maximum people for maximum time. Everyone caught that? And another way to simplify this perspective, this vision, dharma is maximum integration. Prince Arjuna is localizing his perspective to just him and projecting this onto Sri Krishna. Earlier I shared with you, he went from loving the purpose of dharma to loving the family of Pandavas. Now his love is just with himself. That is not maximum integration. This is minimum integration. From our perspective, papat asman nivartitum, we should refrain, we should abstain from engaging in this, which is a sin. Papa. If Prince Arjuna doesn't engage in this conflict, oppressive rulers will continue to oppress society, which includes him and his family. A purpose of a avatara, like Sri Krishna, is to systematically correct oppressive rulers, like Ravana, like Duryodhana. And often we have this fantasy that this happens where a being destroys everyone. A avatara uses instruments like Prince Arjuna, like us, to correct oppressive rulers. Isn't that happening around the world in terms of protests, standing up for equality? What is Prince Arjuna doing? Thinking about himself only. If everyone thought like that, violence would continue to be rampant. At least some are thinking about, in terms of what's happening now, more strict gun laws, voting for that. Kulakshaya kritam dosham. These are the exact same words he used in the previous verse. Families will be destroyed in this conflict. And Swami Tejo Mayananda shared with us, what family? Right now, families are already being destroyed. And if this conflict doesn't go through, all families are going to become like Duryodhana and the Kauravas. Is that a family? Is there a future for society when families and individuals are so selfish? Prapashadbihi Janardana. He keeps using different words for Sri Krishna, trying to get emotion from Sri Krishna. He calls him Arisudana, Madhusudana, Madhava, now Janardana. We can see clearly, and they cannot. Everyone who can't see clearly says that they can see clearly, correct? It's like those who are not calm will tell other people, calm down. But they'll say that in the least calm way. Prince Arjuna is doing the same. We all have PhDs. PhDs in what? Justification. We are experts in making excuses. And Prince Arjuna is an icon of that. These verses, 38 to 47, Prince Arjuna continues to try to use logic to have Sri Krishna's support. Without Sri Krishna's support, he cannot win. The Pandavas cannot win, Dharma cannot win. he's soliciting this, Sri Krishna is not supporting him, because Sri Krishna doesn't want Prince Arjuna to be ordinary. He wants Prince Arjuna to be extraordinary for us too. I know some of you will be feeling that these verses are repetitive. Why does Prince Arjuna have to share 20 verses on why he should not engage in this conflict? This repetition is Sri Krishna trying to encourage Prince Arjuna and us to be ready for the teachings. If we're not ready, the teachings will come and go. So this repetition has a purpose, a deep psychological purpose for us to be ready. From inspiration to application. Yesterday's application was you reflecting on someone who has become worse because of the coronavirus and someone who has become better. And I read your postings on the Niagara website, and all of you are too kind. You didn't name anyone specifically. You took up a generality, and that's fine. The purpose of this reflection is that the challenge is the same. The perspective is different. To one, the coronavirus is a pandemic. To another, the coronavirus is an opportunity to engage in more self-development. The team that I often introduce to all of you, we were discussing how many have more disposable income now than ever. You're not buying things, you're not going on vacations. That's an opportunity, correct? But that's not the case for everyone. We know that. But this has become an opportunity to tend to your finances. It's all about your perspective. Your application for this morning. I want you to count how many excuses you make in the next 24 hours. Keep a sheet of paper with you and just mark it with a line. How many excuses will you make in the next 24 hours? Repetition, correct? See how many times we repeat excuses. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.